Welcome back once again into the workshop for a bit of a Dave's Diary update. In fact, it's about 30 minutes after the other 30-minute update, so there's lots of them today. And that's often what seems to happen, is that one thing generates something else that generates something else. So all those iterations wind up being quite numerous. And the question I had, and I've had it for quite some time, is using melamine the best surface to use for a workbench? And the answer is, well, it all depends. Depends what you're using it for. But in front of me right now is the very reason it's not a good idea. Well, not really. And it's that the straight edge, which is fairly straight, shows that I've got around about 1.5 millimeters. I've just tested it with the feeler gauges. I've got about 1.5 millimeter hollow. If it had been a solid timber workbench, I could have addressed it by planing down the surfaces to more true level, if that was what I wanted. Because it is nice to have a flat surface, is it not? However, the way I've done this top, and this is not necessarily a deliberate thing, but the way I've done my top is that I've got the base cabinetry, which is a door. It's a solid core door, and it did seem to be straight. Didn't really check it, but I eyeballed it and it looked pretty darn good. Then I've put a layer of 25mm custom wood edged in timber on top, the one that you can see here. That is to be my work surface. Because I've done it in two pieces, it affords me the chance to loosen the screws, slip in a packer and jack it up, which I will be doing at some stage, if not right now. But I can pack it up by 1.5 millimeters, and then of course down halfway I can put it by 0.75 or thereabouts. So that way I can actually tune it. So rather than planing a solid timber surface down, I can alter mine as and when necessary. And it's the as and when necessary is a thing, because it might be that despite the robustness of the whole structure, it's not that rigid in beam and up and down. And that could be simply because I've got a set of rollers this end, two pair of rollers there, and a double pair of rollers down this end, allowing a certain amount of flex into the tops. More than likely, it has got a solid back, so the beam might be a little bit more, or might cause the top to be a little bit straighter along the back. Could do. I'll have to check. Point still being is, which choice of material would be best? Solid timber, which can be planed down and made look all pretty and flat, or melamine? Well, I didn't have the solid timber idea in my case at all, so I've always wanted this type of top, out of probably not out of necessity, but out of the practical side of, hey, I've got free components here, let's make use of them. So that's what I've done there, rather than going to that full extent of doing a solid timber top, which would require more sub-top structure to keep it all tied together and flat as well. So yeah, solid timber better than melamine? Yeah, probably. I won't dispute too much of that. But in my case, this is what I've got. I have to make good with it. The other thing is, when you have a mobile work surface, depending on how rigid you've made your subframe and what have you, you may impose loads to your top that you didn't have when you initially planed it. Now, we know everyone's floor is dead flat. It's like a billiard table, isn't it? Yeah. Probably not even level. Almost certainly not dead flat. I've seen how concrete's finished. I used to do that sort of work. And as try as we might, it's flaming hard to get a dead flat surface. It can look it, but not be it. Anyway, 1.5 mil doesn't sound a lot until you start looking at it and go, whoa, that's huge. And the reason I want to get that flat is I want to put my base on it and then glue up this part of the base. So I want to have a starting point for my cabinetry, my mitre station build that's flat. It's straight along the length, up and down, flat. Yeah. So that's why I thought I'd better check. So yeah, so as I said, 1.5 mils in the middle. Get the feeler gauge out, come along and find where it's 0.75. Now all I have to do is to find the materials to actually pack it out. One of the beauties is I came deliberately, I did some work for a printing company. Hence what we've got here is actually circuit diagram 1550. Anyway, it's the print plate for one of these rotary high-speed printers, and as I understand it, it's 0.4 of a mil thick. That can be cut into shims, slid underneath the table, the tops, and I can make multiples of that. So 3 of those, 4 of those, strips in the middle, or whatever. Beauty of that is it's aluminium, of course, and I can put it in there, and if I drill through the darn things at some stage, it's not going to be the end of the world. Hopefully I don't drill through it, but that's one of the other mitigating things, is where you put your packer. Hopefully it's not where you're going to drill. But so that was why I was saying, you know, like I might do it now, I might not as well. Anyway, there you go. Make sure, I would suggest, in my humble opinion, don't use steel or sheet metal. Use aluminium or some such. I might even try and find something else, plastic or something, that can do the same thing. Here's another thought, thinking about it as I'm waffling on. This stuff here is actually what we call DPC, or damp proof course, and it happens to be 1 mil thick. So, or just under 0.9 or 0.95, but it can be slipped under things and then slid out until you find some resistance. You can put that through and use that as your packer. That's how we used to do a lot of straightening work. You slip it through to it can't move. That's its natural friction point, it's grabbing at that point, and that's how you pack the thing. So in fact, thinking about it, that's what I'll use. Not that at all. It would be horrible for me to be drilling through with my nice new 20mm bench dog hole sawy thingy, and it grab and it either not do the bit any well, might dull it, or might grab this because it's so thin. If it grabs this and it's a bit thick, it's plastic and less likely to cause harm. Okay, that's it. Just that's the idea. When is a melamine top not good, and when is it good? Well, it's good when you can tune it. Okay, that's it. Better get some work done. Another half hour, you might see me again. I promise I'll try and keep the videos more succinct. Rightio, see you later now. Bye.